Welcome back to another market recap. Today is April 2nd, 2025. So I had an interesting trading day, I guess. I didn't have a whole ton of opportunities in front of me, but I probably had a chance at two, and I got distracted and missed setting up my entries. So it's a little frustrating, but it is what it is. One of those was Euro Pound. So I didn't take any trades today. Um, there's this trade that I saw when it was roughly here, and then it was setting up that I could take. I was waiting for a continuation and like a push past this sum, and then a pull back to this level, and everything lined up pretty nicely. And pulled back and tapped and went. If we go back in time here a little bit, right? So we go there. So nice setup. It's a IBO. So a clear kind of deceleration at some previous highs. Been pushing kind of bullish all day. MACD of losing steam. Upwards trend line that it broke. Gave a clear lower low. So the first bit of a trend change. And then gave us a lower high. So the second bit of the trend change confirmation. And then continued pretty much straight to target. So this would have been a 2R trade, but I just got distracted for a moment, writing an email and missed this entry. So, and then I had, I think maybe it was, I can't remember the other pair right now. I had a dollar yen. Was it yen? Most of the yens in the beginning of the day kind of had some pushes early on. And this is a trade that I was watching. It was kind of like the main trade I was watching, but it didn't really give a pullback to enter the trade. If we kind of like scroll back in time here, I was watching around the 9 o'clock hour for me, so 9 o'clock Central. And I was wanting price to push down from here, come down to 0.382 and the EMAs and the pivot, and then take this long. But it kind of just kept pushing up to that area. I was still entertaining taking this trade, even if it would pull back, because at this point, I hadn't taken a trade yet for the day. It's not preferable for it to kind of test this area for me before it comes back down, but it's still a valid option based off of the 2-minute chart. And the 2-minute chart for me is king, right? So the daily at that point either wasn't super great, given that it's sitting at all this kind of crap that's in the way. So again, like when I'm trying to place a target, I want nothing between my entry point and my target if it's avoidable. Now, there's times I'll trade through it, but if it's usually along the lines of if I haven't taken a trade yet that day, then I'll just take whatever the best setup that it's in front of me that pulls back and gives me an entry. And I had a number of different things on watch throughout the day, but it's kind of the vibe that I had most of the days. Just things weren't pulling back. So a lot of stuff just kind of ran. Same thing with this yen pair. It just shot to Mars essentially. So never pulled back and just continued all the way up to this kind of level. So this was another trade that I missed because I got distracted a little bit. So I was considering entering short on this trade after kind of like a bullish push all day, kind of similar to the Euro Pound concept, kind of hitting another decent level and giving a quick retracement is what I was after. About here. So it wouldn't have been off the pivot or anything, but it kind of gave a good little break right here. And then I drew my fib from the high to that low. And I was entertaining entering right here. But again, I got distracted doing something else. And I looked away for 20 or so minutes. And when I look back, I realized that I failed to set up this the stuff I needed to enter the trade. So I failed to place my limit order or anything because at this point I was like still waiting for price to break down fully, and I was kind of expecting price to continue or maybe stall a little bit. And just the trade happened quicker than I anticipated, and I didn't have 100% focus on the charts, so it caused me to miss this trade as well. So another 2R trade. I guess it would have not exactly been 2R. Well, it may have been 2R. Would have been an 8-pip position sizing, 160 target. So it would have damn near been. Yeah. It wouldn't have been exactly 2 pips because I would have had to have managed it accordingly. And so I would have followed this trend. And as soon as it started breaking up, I possibly would have exited. So probably about 1.5 or so. But it's really only 2 main trades that pulled back and even gave an entry today that I saw. Was this dollar yen kind of 2-minute play, as well as this euro pound 2-minute play. So euro pound was my favorite setup of the day. I liked it. It looked good. I just lost focus. And when you're trading, you lose focus, results suffer. So a good reminder of it. I've had a good couple of weeks. Kind of the first time in a little while I've kind of lost focus. So good reminder to remove distractions while trading. For the, I didn't really have any 4-hour setups today for my daily watch list. Let's see how that stuff played out. So let's fix some of this. There we go. So CAD Swiss was one of my primary pairs from yesterday's watch list for a daily kind of 1-hour play. When price kind of gave this double top here, though, I wasn't really feeling it too much anymore. It still kind of played out-ish. I mean, late into the day, and I think there was some tariff news that came in. I think Trump maybe was speaking or something like that caused all this craziness, and it caused it on almost all pairs. So it had to have been some kind of global news. There wasn't any scheduled news, but I'm pretty sure Trump was talking about tariffs that caused all this weird spikiness to occur. So based off my original position sizing, even if I was still in this trade, I would have been knocked out of it for probably a slight loss. If I would have entered this trade, it would have been probably about there on a 30-second. It's just a solid entry still. I did not like the double tops that it ended up forming. I wanted price to pretty much come from here where it was at the beginning of the day, come down to this level, and then take that move up. But when it gives this kind of double top reversal and then reverses on like the micro time frames, can you still take it long? Will it still play out? Yes. But the probability starts to go down the more stuff you start to, again, put in your way of your target. So not a super big fan of the double tops. It's enough reason for me to not take the trade. And as well as by the time this did pull back to give a valid entry, it was in the morning time and I'm trading micros. So if I take this trade, it eats up my leverage and then I can't put the correct position sizing that I need to on the micro time frame trades I'm taking for targeting those 2-minute runs. So it becomes a no trade at that point anyways for me. So still the overall bias did kind of play out with the news, but not like we wanted to. CAD yen, similar kind of thing, but I wasn't feeling this too much yesterday. Euro CAD didn't play out. Pound CAD didn't play out. guess most of the CADs really didn't play out. Euro Aussie didn't really play out. Nor did Pound Aussie, but we talked about this yesterday, right? Like both those Aussie pairs, they kind of had the vibe of like they could either go down or they could go up. So rather big Aussie push today. Kiwi Swiss. Play out either really. Dollar knock ended up breaking this kind of level we'd been watching, but also kind of coming back up now. So what I'm waiting to see if it possibly occurs, like sometimes you'll have a level, it'll be holding, and it'll break down. And it looks like, you got a breakout play and you can play it. And you could. There's traders out there, this is what they trade. But it also could be a false break, right? And that's really how you get your head and shoulder patterns to form, is it just kind of chills. You get a false break, it breaks back up, gives you that other shoulder, and then you go long from that point, right? So what I'm waiting to see, will price now come up and then come back down, something like this, or it could even come back to this level here to give us kind of a head and shoulders pattern and then take this thing long, right? So still watching dollar knock. I still feel like it's got a lot of potential. It just needs to develop a little bit more. And then dollar Mexican. So with this just kind of tapped my entry points, and I don't use limit orders on day trades, so targeting 1 hour runs. So I would never really had an opportunity to get into this trade, but if you're using a limit order, you could technically probably be in it. But you could have just rode this right here as well. If you would have got tapped, say there, and then rode that kind of trend until it broke. Problem is when it broke fast and quick. So being able to exit probably is not likely manually, right? So your other option would be if like you're clipping, it just depends what the rest of the time frames look like right there. Should really only be at the first phase management, P1 is where I would have been on it. It didn't really give me a reason to go to P2, so like a break-even position. But it would have been sitting at more than 1R. So I'd be looking to aggressively exit, but I'd be waiting for price to really break that EMA to get out of this trade. And the problem would be is that if it broke it on that candle shoots it all the way up here. You're sitting at 0.8. So now you got to kind of like wait and hold some of this pullback. And then once it came down here, if it started to break up again, it'd be tough. It'd be tough to capture. I feel like the only main way you would have captured this is if you were following it all the way down, and as price broke right here, you just locked in your 1, and then as price reversed and popped up quickly, it pulled you out for your 1. So you'd have to go in from basically P1 management straight to P3 management to be able to catch it. Otherwise, this trade probably would have played out for a slight loss. You would have pretty much been at break even with P1. So you would have held it back to that point and probably been triggered out about right there. So ultimately, the idea of the trade played out. Just the timing of it didn't quite fit. Cool. Still watching knock. We'll leave that one there. And we'll just get rid of, clean up some of these. I like to, as well as I've been taught to, pretty much remove all of my analysis from the charts from the previous day. I like to go into each kind of session of building a watch list without anything muddying it up, right? There's a tendency if you leave all your previous analysis from the day prior, the week prior, and so on and so forth, it all starts to compound on top of each other. It makes your charts pretty messy. It makes things kind of hard to read. It can give you false biases. It leads to more errors than it does help in my eyes. So I come through here and delete everything. And then we'll start over. All right, let's see what we can find. So I'm still sitting at 0 for the day. I like to at least take a trade a day, at least, take a shot at something, be it a win or a loss. So I'll still be trying to take a trade at some point from here on forward until late tonight. See if I can get a trade in. Some of this stuff though, like the yens, I know most of the yens are kind of already breaking down right at the very start of the day based off all of that tariff news. So it's kind of messed up some of the setups, even if they were there. Like I was waiting to enter this yen trade from a micro perspective, which it gave an entry. I missed it, but even with all this kind of crap that went on, if I was still holding this trade, it would have been triggered out. But it's very difficult to hold a micro trade anyways on micro cycles over the following day because of the spread spike. So typically, if I do have a trade open by about 3 or 3:30 my time, I'll look to close it no matter where it's at. And it's kind of messed up most of the stuff I was looking at throughout the day. Just made some really weird price action on pretty much everything. Which large news will do that. I guess technically there's a second shot at this dollar Mexican trade, possibly. And the overall kind of short bias is still there. Kind of had your IBO. This is like wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, potential like wave 5 play. Kind of a CBO-esque, even though this price action's a little weird. I'll flag it just because I've really not got anything else at the moment. I don't love it, but it's something. It's an option. I'm actually going to check. I had this on like a 4-hour watch earlier in the day, but again, all that craziness kind of messed it up. Do one more quick scan. See if there's something I missed. Right now, I'm not really seeing a whole lot. A whole lot that excites me. I don't really love, like, I feel like this is kind of already at a pretty decent level, so I don't really want to take it long. I'd rather short this. It doesn't really have a setup too short, at least in the daily time frame. Other CAD, maybe. But I also feel like the play already happened. Like there. A wave 3 CBO. So it looks like happened right here already. Curious on these yens, because all these yens have had like a pretty large movement with like yen strength. With this kind of like strong movement, can I find something on either my 4-hour, my 1-hour layouts, targeting like a 10-minute or a 2-minute run to play a pullback? Daily setup wise right now, targeting 1 hour, I'm not really seeing anything. Everything's just ugly. I saw this earlier in the day, this Kiwi CAD, and I was entertaining this to take long. You know, you have a break of everything, a CBO, retest of this, and continue on. But then that news pretty much screwed it all up. A number of pairs have kind of had that happen to them. But with any kind of volatility that comes in, there's usually some micro time frame plays that'll hopefully develop in the next couple of hours that I could take a shot at. Yeah, I don't really have anything. It's the first time in a while I've not really had anything on a watch list. The only thing I can find is this dollar Mexican. But I don't love it. It's an option. But I really don't love it. All right. So let's add these two to our daily watch list. And let's actually go through on a 4-hour watch list real quick. I already had most of the yens from the last 4-hour watch list I built of the day. I don't know. What does this look like on a 2-minute? Just looks wild. Ton of volume. All right. I'm gonna leave those there. Aussie CAD we'll leave there. Euro Aussie. Leave everything from that. Yeah. Let's do a quick 4-hour scan and see if you see anything here. So Aussie dollar wise, it's just like, how do you draw a fib in here is the difficult part. Maybe, but also you could say it's from here, you know? It's a weird one. This might be approaching. There's the take the night off kind of approach, honestly. I don't really like anything from the daily or 4-hour perspective, at least right now. I like to have clear trends develop that I can trade from. I'm not really a news trader. So all this like spikiness, none of my strategies really fit into it. Typically, I don't trade through news. So if there is some kind of high impact news coming out, I usually look to close a trade or not place a trade if one's present a little bit before. Like yesterday, I had that dollar Swiss that had a high impact news coming out in 15 minutes. So I chose to close it down a little bit early and just lock in the 1.3 I had rather than hold through news. If I held through news, could have played out for the full 2R, but also if I held through news, it could have just gone straight to zero. So I don't like playing the coin flip game personally. Don't make anything. Yeah, I really ain't got much today. So I got this weird, still watching dollar knock, even though with this weird price action, it actually kind of helps this pair a little bit. So kind of looking for a push up on it. Hopefully we get one. Dollar Mexican maybe short, but that goes against my bias of dollar knock. I'm looking for dollar strength here. So if I get dollar strength, then this trade will fail more than likely. If we get dollar weakness, then this trade will play out. If we get dollar weakness, Aussie dollar would play out. Yeah, I don't love it. Ain't really loving much. So nothing really on 4-hour watch. And just these two pairs on daily. And then I'm going to keep my eyes open for some micro trades, some 2-minute runs. See if we can find something somewhere in here. But I think this will need to develop a little bit. I think this is what I was talking about with these yens. I think there might be a play, like get a double bottom right here, right? And say this then pushes up past that double bottom and gives us a higher high, comes back and gives us a higher low, so a full confirmed trend change, and then we can take it to the 10-minute 50, 2-minute 200. You know, position size would look something, well, let's throw in a fib. Say it goes to there. Position size, it looks something like this. $22 pips or so. Could even stretch it a little bit, but for just a 2-to-1, 22 pips, 44 pip target. So this is about all I've got. I'm sure most of the yens probably look similar to this. So I'll be watching them to see if they break out from a micro play, and I can play a quick little pullback for a nice little 2R. Besides that, that's all I got. I will catch you guys tomorrow. See ya.